right, let's see if I'm online like yesterday's issues. Seems like I am. There's no stretching. Excellent. Excellent. It's a bit sad though that it is not edge to edge like widescreen because yeah, I don't know. Hey Kilrathi, Jenny, Atsuki, Zealin, what up? How's it going? And it's snowing heavily. Heavily here today. A lot of it is snowing. Okay, let's do 91. Hero card Friday. Still no snow? And for those who don't have access to it, here we can see, you can see a little bit of what's happening in the hero card category. Lots of feedback and comments. I have been a little bit of AFK because of December, but I'm gonna be trying to spend time over the weekend to properly give you guys feedback and so on. But yeah, stuff is happening. It's awesome to see. How dare you? Hey, listen. Hey, listen. Hey, Japamoth, thank you very much for the subscription, man. Really appreciate it. How's it going? Happy New Year's, Japamoth. It's been a while indeed. So this is where my hero card is at the moment. It's slowly getting there. I want to start pushing towards finish now. I think I don't need everything on layers anymore. Just some stuff like the rain and so on. I'm gonna start to push. Now I think foundation is there. Now I just need to make everything work, and it's a little bit far off at the moment from that. But I think I'll get there. I think. Hey Georg, how's it going? So today I thought I'm gonna do the generic hero, and I think this would be a good candidate for the generic hero, don't you think? Like it's generic enough if I crunch it in a little bit, so we get the flag there, him cutting the edge. I think that will be a good kind of like a frame. I think that's going to be. I think this is going to be the generic hero card. Hey Quentin. Giacomo, it is a hero card. The idea is all the subscribers will do hero cards for themselves. More or less just a representative illustration of them as an artist. Like their style or what they love to paint and so on. Doesn't need to be a depiction of them. For a subscriber, and I will help them push that illustration to like a game card quality, you know, like Wizards of the Coasts or whatever. And then when the hero card is finished, it will be presented on the stream every time the stream ends as a thank you for the support. Like this is your hero card, like this is jumpable card. And then also I'll try to incorporate that into the website of Firestarter, like Hall of Fame or you know, like something like that. And it's going to be a good for you and good for me. Hey Eric Mui, now you get a number 3. Oh, crazy! Thanks for the support, man. Much appreciated. And anyone subscribing, let me know on Discord if you want a sketchbook or private sketchbook in the channel, or access to the hero card if you want to participate. There's no deadline. You can do it at your own pace, but you're going to get feedback, a lot of feedback to push the illustration. Blah, 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 blah. Words, 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 words. Let's go. So yeah, the hero card stuff, I think it's going really, really well. There's a lot of good contributions so far. Hey, Dan Animated. And anyways, on Discord, it's free. If join, if you're a subscriber, you get those extra perks. It's optional though, so if you don't want it, I'm not gonna make you. Okay, so I'm gonna go straight to value. I'm gonna design as I go along. Gonna see where that leads me. I know I've been like bitching and moaning about me not doing foundation enough. Kind of not doing it at the moment, but there is at least somewhat of a foundation, right? And I kind of just want to go autopilot on this one. Just enjoy the ride, right? Because that's why I do the studies, let's say Study Monday, with focusing on proportions and so on, and trying to figure that out. Because points where like this, where I don't need to be a slave to the process, where I can just have fun. You got to make sure that you have the fun as well as doing the hard work, right? Hey, Dr. Sheldon, how's it going? Oh, so many number 3s. Lovely. And Georg is riding in on number 6, the horse number 6. Oh, yeah. Ooh, thank you for the gift, man. You gave Seal Inside a subscription. That is crazy. And the same is extended to Seal Inside, of course. Just all you need to do is join Discord and let me know, and either through PM or on a channel, and I'll hook you up. One thing I know about me doing proportions and so on is that I know that I go very stylized, very fast, and that's something I really want to this year focus a little bit on. Like one of the things that I've always been aware of myself, which I've always tried to remedy, is to push proportions too much. Like sometimes I push them too much and they become very exaggerated, stylized to the extent where it doesn't look realistic, right? And I think this year I should be a little bit aware of it, more aware of it. Shasta, good Bjorn. Hilarious. How are you today? Let's do this and that. This, that. Actually, let's zoom out on this one maybe. Well, how does that look at on OBS? Looks pretty good. Okay, leave it like that, and then you can do it like this. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it's very tricky, I think, to know um, kind of to know about how to explain it. Like for me, teaching myself art, like I'm not educated in it in terms of art school, or the techniques I know is not from someone else, more or less. You know, it's me experimenting, hearing it from someone else, kind of talking about it, then me going home and experimenting with it. Like no one has sat me down and walked me through it. I generally also don't buy gumroads and so on. That's generally not really what I do. So for me, one of the hard things to learn or to have picked up is technique, and I guess to some degree constraint, in the sense of technique and focus. And I think you can notice it on educated artists that have gone to an art school. They've gone through like disciplinary lengths from their teachers to, you know, like spend time on this, do all the proportions correctly before you move on. You know, like they've been drilled in it, right? And I think that's one of the downsides of being self-taught, is that you don't have that forced discipline, or discipline forced upon you. That's one of the harder things to do as a, you know, to go from hobbyist to professional and doing it on your own, is to know, like, to what extent do you need to push yourself, like, because you can notice it in a lot of people when they're ask questions like, what did you do to stay focused, what did you do about time management, what did you do? I mean, all of those questions like stem from them figuring it out, because there's no one telling them. And I had to do that myself, you know, ask a friend, or sit down and try to figure out some sort of approach to it, both, you know, technically or time scheduling, or, you know, any of the above. And I think it can easily be something that holds you back. Hey, Ricky, how's it going? Ricky. And I think that's one of the beautiful things with, let's say, in this instance, like our community, and things I noticed that you guys are doing, is that you help each other a lot, and you give each other comments. You can ask a question on the Discord and people will take time to help you, you know, write a comment, and I think that's great, and not all places are like that. a lot of places are, I think, very egocentric. Hey, Denzel, how's it going? Like, they want a lot of play. My daughter is screaming in the background. A lot of places can be very toxic. A lot of places can be very egocentric. A lot of places can be like immature in a way. And I think our little community on the Discord, I mean, little and little. I mean, it's 700 people. That's, I mean, it's quite big in that sense. I mean, 700 people is quite a lot of people, regardless if it's if they're all active. I mean, if you would put 700 people in a room, it would be required to be a big ass room, you know. And I think that's one of the cool things about our place is that there's a lot of level-headed people. And there's not a lot of shit posting. There's not a lot of negativity. I mean, there's occasionally disagreements, but they're kept as disagreements rather than war. It's cool. And I saw a post from I don't know if I should name the artist. I don't remember if he posted it publicly or between friends. I don't really remember, so I gotta be a little bit careful here. But it's nothing major. Shartha, yeah, exactly. Eric, yeah, yeah. That was one of the points I was gonna make. FS bro, exactly. Anyways, as I was saying, this one artist, he was complaining that ArtStation is turning into just tits and ass, teen, you know, shitty art. That it's not industry related anymore. It's just tits and ass, you know, absolutely non-relatable art to the industry. Like no one really uses that kind of art, except you know on people who want to look at tits, and that's not game related. That will never fly in a game. So who's actually clicking all those tits and ass pictures? And you know, you start to think, okay, what kind of community is that if majority of picture on display on main page is tits and ass? And granted, this artist have made a point that if you look at ArtStation, most of the times there's quite a lot of like boob thumbnails, and art depicting nudity, not with a purpose, but displaying nudity for nudity's sake. In that sense, I'm not like shitting on it or anything, but it's a valid point saying that why is ArtStation, which is quite community or industry heavy, that you know people are joining that because they want to be in the game industry or movie industry, not just share like deviant art level, or like they made the analogy of like deviant art filth. And he said also like, oh yeah, I've been a mod at art communities, but he said in order to keep art community sane or at the correct level, it requires a lot of moderating. I mean, I can see that happening, but one of the things I instantly thought about is that I have done almost zero moderating on our Discord. And I'm very happy about that fact that everyone is so level-headed and mature about it and sane. Like last night there was some stupid clickbait, like, oh, click the porn like dating Discord server here. Just one little post, and everyone after that was like shitting on it, like ha ha ha, hurry up and click, and like making fun of it, like who takes the bait, who would take the bait, and that made me also think about what you said, Hefes bro, and Eric Ricky, like that the communities. I think I instantly was thinking about it like a pivot point. Like if majority of people are immature, and they get, let's say, most traction in terms of traffic or post quantity, I think majority of more mature people would gravitate away from that, right? Because they're like, oh, I have nothing to add to this nonsense, and then they just kind of get bored and they don't have any interaction. I think then if the majority of people in terms of exposure or traffic is more of a kind of mature nature, they'll gain the traction or the main room and they will set the tone. But I also think, let's say in my instance, I contribute to set the tone. For example, when drama occurs, like I deal with it like a dad, right? Like you kids can fight it out to a degree where you cross the line, and then I have to come in and correct it. And then it means that I don't always have to correct everything because you can self-correct, like a good dad, you know. If you see it that way, I don't see you as children. But if I had to make an analogy, that would be the analogy I made. But just to clarify, I don't see you guys as children, obviously. But that made me think about quite a lot of things. But how come certain places are just like a shitty server with just tits and ass and shit posts and immaturity? Like, why would who's? I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't want to stay at a place like that. I would like, all right, you guys, I'm going away. And then, I mean, as I see it, that a place like that would die fast. I don't know. Bjorn, yeah, I mean that could be a point. That would be a valid point. I think it's a lot more focused, a lot more grown up in that sense that it's not just a hangout. It's for people who actually want to improve. As this stream is quite orientated towards that, right? Rick, yeah, exactly. Vanity's Fall. To some degree, I mean, that's good. Um, it's also not good that everything is the same. And I'm Vanity's Fall. I'm talking more about like the tits and ass posts, like the non-industry related art, like concept art or illustration or marketing art. Eric, yeah, that is true. That is true. They have way more time to waste, so they can waste it being silly. And for them, it's not about not necessarily growing, but I think it's more about interacting. And when they're interacting for shits and giggles, I think it's an easy path to take where it just becomes silliness rather than focused. That's true. And he has a floating sword. But but yeah, it made me think quite a lot about him and how he was complaining that like what's the thing that we need to do to get back our community and one person said, "Oh, I built a community for more serious artists." But how many would want to go to the serious artist site when there's little traffic there? You know, do you see the point there where the reason why ArtStation is crowded is because there are professionals there, but there's also the tits and ass people there, and everything in between, right? People who just want to look at cool art, people who want to make cool art and share it, people who just want to look at cleavage, teeny people. Eric Moy, yeah, exactly. When you let it slide, they assume that that's the standard. It's true. Vanity's fall, right? Hey, Gria, how's it going? Good morning. Giacomo. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, there's nothing wrong with drawing tits and ass. Absolutely not. And I think, but for me, it only have that much, what's it called? Distance, I guess you could say. It doesn't go far, you know. Oh, that's tits and ass. Nice. And if we think about like the Discord tone, the tone of the warm up Discord, that everyone is more focused and not necessarily posts art like that, and because they, granted, it's nothing wrong with doing it. I'm a man. I look at women. I'm or more likely I'm straight. I look at women. Um, and you do that. That's fine. You can draw that. I've painted many naked people. You know, but I also don't post it as the main attraction of my portfolio, because what I'm interested in is designing, and I think to that artist's point that was complaining that for an industry site having a high percentage of tits and ass, um, something is a little bit broken, and I can agree with that. I mean, like, but is he then you can also argue like, does he see ArtStation as something else than what it actually is? Has he for has he hasn't adjusted his mindset for what ArtStation is? It maybe started out as a industry heavy art site, but it didn't grow enough until they started being a bit more generic, and then it started because there's more generic people than specialists. statistically, you know. Absolutely done animated. A lot of people draw tits and ass for traffic, which is even more strange. Like, I want to be famous, so I draw tits and ass. But what's even sadder or worse is that they get famous. They get lots of traffic, and a lot of people are clicking at the tits and ass. It's weird. Eric Ricky, yeah, they keeps the numbers up. I can totally see that, and he uses it as a crutch or as a boost or as a marketing thing. But for me, that purpose of that is purely just clickbait. You know, for me, that has no value as art, right? I mean, then you can also argue, well, like, what does this night painting have in terms of value to art? You know, why am I on that high horse thinking that a generic night is more valuable than tits and ass? Well, you can always argue the objectification standpoint. You know, like, oh, it doesn't objectify someone. Well, it does, but not sexually. And I do agree that, you know, objectifying women in that sense, you know, you can have a big discussion about that. But who's clicking those tits and ass paintings if not men? I doubt that there's a lot of women clicking those tits and ass paintings. And then you can discuss, like, why are only young men clicking, rather. I wouldn't say men. Majority, statistically. Örjan, yeah, absolutely, I agree. That's why I said, like, tits and ass is called because when they were specialist site, they were not top 1,000. Only when they became generic, because the more generic you are, the more people will be interested in it, because it'll tick most boxes for most people. The more specialized you are, the harder it is to tick boxes for everyone. Like, if I would show this to a grandmother, she'd like, huh? But if you would show a beautiful painting of a beautiful woman to a granny, granted, maybe that's a bit racy, but she could still relate to it because it's generic enough. She's like, oh, what a beautiful girl. And I've experimented with that many times, like with my own mother when I was younger, and I was trying to figure out concept art. Like, I showed her one painting of a monster. She's like, oh, that's a monster. I was like, all right, that didn't have any impact, so I'll switch it up. I'll paint something a little bit different, a little bit more artsy, and I would show it to her. She was like, oh, that's pretty. And I was like, all right, on the right path, but not correct enough. Then I would try to do a little bit of a mix, and she's like, oh, wow, that's beautiful. And then I was like, why is that? Why did she react to that painting that way? And then, like, I kind of quickly understood that having a very unique point of view doesn't necessarily mean quality, and being generic also doesn't necessarily mean people will like it. It's like a balancing act, and I was like using my mother as a guinea pig to try to figure out, like, how to interact through my art with someone who doesn't know anything. The chat box hides your face frame. What do you mean, Amir? My face frame? Chat box? The gray frame around my portrait? That's, I don't know what you're talking about, Amir. You're confusing me. What do you mean, Amir? Oh, like that? Oh, that's just because I'm an idiot. There's no other reason. It's just because I'm an idiot and I should be sitting over here. Not like sitting over here. Like like a good old idiot. What you should have said, Amir, is lean back. You're not in frame. That would be like, you are correct, sir. I apologize for my hello. Yeah. Beard streamer. Funny enough, you on when I play games, I tend to use the nickname Nordic Beard. Beard streamer. Okay, so next step is to kinda work on the light a little bit more. Get the values down. I don't think I'll move forward until I kind of nail the values, get the painting the way I want it. But I think it's kind of getting there. I need probably 1 more hour fiddling with the values. Kind of trying to get it to read just right. A lot of it is going to be by pushing and pulling values in and out. But I'd say it's on the right direction. But yeah, I'm gonna stream tonight, so most likely I will paint on this generic hero. I mean, yeah, I just need to do like that, I think, a little bit more when I lean in, instead of having it. Yeah. Done animated, great. Okay, do you guys have any suggestions on who to raid? Something more like that, maybe. Yeah, clearer, more defined values. Sozomaika, maybe? What's she doing? Kind of cool portrait. Doing some ladies. Let's rate her. She's a cool girl. Vanity's Fall. Yeah, I mean, they discussed in that discussion about filter, maturity filter, that is not actually working, and I do agree. It shouldn't be censored. I think ideally, what I would wish is people's maturity, that most people wouldn't click those tits and ass. It's like my Discord. I don't try to moderate what you guys are talking about. But I'm just glad seeing the discussions are not of immature nature, so that you guys are actually having what I would consider correct discussions or interesting discussions rather than just shit posts. And that's kind of what I would have loved ArtStation to do. That professionals are more clicking on the more professional pictures and leaving the tits and ass paintings to die off naturally. Anyways, we're gonna raid Sozomaika, cool woman from the States. Does a lot of like cool comic style, hard comic style with the femme fatales. Also seems to be a quite chill person. I don't know her personally, but go give her some love. I'm gonna do the outro. Have a great day. Good night. I'm gonna do an extra stream tonight, so see you with music and relaxation. Thank you everyone for the subscriptions. Thank you everyone for hanging out. You guys are the best.